Why should you throw away the clothes of the bereaved? King Jizo reveals these 3 reasons. Helping relatives in the world. Why should you throw away the clothes of the bereaved? This has left countless families a torn puzzle. What is the mystery hidden behind it? Why does conventional wisdom maintain that keep the fittest medical? It will affect the peace of Yang Jian's relatives. Is it just to avoid gambling? Private pain. Or is there another underlying reason that is not known? Kaizo King Bodhisattva. Once compassion began for 3 fundamental reasons. These 3 reasons directly related to the delicate balance of life and death. The first reason, energy residue and magnetic field interference are involved. The second reason, it's about emotional bonds and soul ties. The third reason, it touches on the imbalance of yin and yang and the disturbance of the aura field. These 3 seemingly mysterious reasons. In fact, it contains the ancient people's profound understanding of the wisdom of life and death. When we truly understand what King Kiso Bodhisattva has revealed, these 3 reasons are shown. We'll find dealing with deceased obligations is not a ruthless move. It is the greatest compassion for both the living and the dead. In ancient times, Nanki sat in his grandmother's old house, looking at the house full of old things, mixed flavors in my heart. The autumn wind is bleak. The moonlight shines on the ground through the carved curtains. Cast mottled shadows. It's been 3 months since my grandmother left, but he was always reluctant to deal with the old man's clothes, especially those who accompany grandmothers. Clothes for most of my life. Each piece holds precious memories. That blue padded jacket. It was a dowry given by my grandmother's family when she got married. Exquisite peonies embroidered on the jacket. Although it has faded somewhat over the years, but you can still see the beauty of that year. The embroidered apron. Record the grandmother's busy figure in the kitchen. The oil stains on the apron can't be washed off. But that's the imprint left by a mother when she cooks food for her family. And those lasagna cloth shoes witnessed every inch of land that my grandmother walked. The soles of the shoes have been worn thin, but the embroidery on the upper is still vivid. The elders in the village advised him to deal with it as soon as possible, said it was for the peace of the house. But Lanki always felt that this was too indifferent. These clothes were my grandmother's work. How can you just throw it away? The blue flag caresses the clothes. I can still feel the warmth and love of my grandmother. In the dead of night, he always remembers what grandmothers looked like in these clothes. Remembering the patience of his grandmother when she taught him how to sew. Remembering the tenderness of my grandmother when she told him stories. These clothes, it was like a bond between him and his grandmother. It made him feel like his grandmother hadn't really left. But recently, the atmosphere at home is getting more and more dull. Father always loses his temper for no reason. Mother also often has insomnia and dreaminess. Even the usual lively and lovely little brother become taciturn, always talking about nightmares. Lanki herself also felt the abnormality. He often hears strange noises at night. Sometimes footsteps. Sometimes it's the sound of clothes rubbing. Sometimes you can even hear your grandmother's sigh. These phenomena both frightened and confused her. I don't know what to do. Just then, a strange sleepiness hit. He unknowingly fell asleep on the table. In her dream, Lanki discovered, "You're in the middle of something." In the glittering temple hall. The temple is solemn. Reaction array. Lotus blossoms. It was awe-inspiring. A faint smell of sandalwood fills the air. A sense of tranquility. Just as he was amazed by the sight in front of him, a kind-looking bodhisattva slowly walked over. Bodhisattva in a kasaya, holding a staff. Sigwang shines, wide solemn. The benefactor, this penniless monk, is the bodhisattva of King Kizo. That voice was gentle and majestic, like manna. Let the blue flag instantly understand the identity of the other party. The bodhisattva blue flag immediately knelt down and saluted. The disciple did not know what to do with his grandmother's belongings. Ask the bodhisattva to guide you. Kaizo King Bodhisattva nodded slightly, a compassionate smile on his face, warm as spring breeze. The confusion in your heart. This penniless monk has long known. The disposal of the deceased's clothing is of great significance. Since we are destined to meet today, the poor monk will explain the mystery for you. Lanki's heart shot, waiting respectfully for the beginning of the bodhisattva. He feels the compassionate power of the bodhisattva is soothing his inner anxiety and confusion. The world often says to keep the messenger as a memorial. This filial piety is certainly valuable, but if you don't understand the reason, on the contrary, it may cause trouble to relatives in the yang world. The words of King Jizo Bodhisattva shook Blue Flag's heart. He was eager to learn more. Donor knowns, the soul of man and the things he used in life, have a deep connection of fate. Lanki shook his head, eyes full of thirst for knowledge. When a person is alive, clothes that are touched day and night, it will be contaminated with its breath and thoughts. These smells are not simple smells. It's an invisible energy field. The Bodhisattva's interpretation is like a pot of empowerment. Let the blue flag think. He began to understand. Why is that? I can always feel it in my grandmother's clothes. Special breath. When people die, if its soul still cares about the sun, it is easy to pass through these items contaminated with breath. Keep in touch with the world. Although this connection is based on family affection, but it's not good for either party in the long run. Blue Ki thought of her grandmother's deep affection for her family during her lifetime. I understand the words of the Bodhisattva even more in my heart, especially before my grandmother died. I'm still worried about everything at home. That reluctant attachment is really deep. The messenger keeps in touch with the sun through clothing. Will hinder its path to death. Relatives in the world will also be affected. Various uncomfortable symptoms occur. Bodhisattva's word reminds me of the blue flag, the various abnormal phenomena that have occurred in the home recently. Then Bodhisattva, what should we do with these clothes? Jizo King Bodhisattva said slowly, handling the clothes of the deceased. There are certain methods and timing that need to be followed. But before I think of the explanation method, you have to understand the root cause. Because only by understanding why you do it, to really handle it like this. Nanki Bengtson concentrated, afraid of missing a word. He feels the Buddha was about to tell him an important secret. Handling the clothes of the deceased. It is related to the peace of the family home in the yang world. This is not groundless. There are 3 important reasons for this. These three reasons are related. Both are indispensable. Bodhisattva's words let Lanki realize the seriousness and complexity of the problem. The Bodhisattva stopped him and quickly knelt down his luggage. The disciple did not know what to do with the grandmother's clothes. Ask the Bodhisattva to guide you. Kaizo King Bodhisattva nodded slightly, a compassionate smile on his face, warm as spring breeze. The confusion in your heart. This penniless monk has long known. The disposal of the clothes of the deceased does matter. Since we are destined to meet today, the penniless monk will explain the mystery to you in detail. Lanki's heart shot, waiting respectfully for the beginning of the Bodhisattva. He feels the compassionate power of the Bodhisattva is soothing his inner anxiety and confusion. The world often says to keep the messenger as a memorial. This filial piety is certainly valuable, but if you don't understand the reason, on the contrary, it may cause trouble to relatives in the yang world. The words of King Jizo Bodhisattva shook Blue Flag's heart. He was eager to learn more. Donor knowns. The soul of a man is related to the things he used in his lifetime. Deep connection of fate. Lanki shook his head, eyes full of thirst for knowledge. When a person is alive, clothes that are touched day and night will be contaminated with their breath. Think these smells are not simple smells. It's an invisible energy field. The Bodhisattva's interpretation is like a pot of empowerment. Let the Blue Flag think. He began to understand. Why is that? I can always feel it in my grandmother's clothes. Special breath. When people die, if its soul still cares about the sun, it is easy to pass through these items contaminated with breath. Keep in touch with the world. Although this connection is based on family affection, but it's not good for either party in the long run. Lanki thought, grandmother's deep affection for her family. I understand the words of the Bodhisattva even more in my heart, especially before my grandmother died. I'm still worried about everything at home. That reluctant attachment is really deep. The messenger keeps in touch with the sun through clothing. Will hinder its path to death. Relatives in the world will also be affected. Various uncomfortable symptoms occur. Bodhisattva's word reminds me of the Blue Flag, the various abnormal phenomena that have occurred in the home recently. Then Bodhisattva, what should we do with these clothes? Jizo King Bodhisattva said slowly, handling the clothes of the deceased. There are certain methods and timing that need to be followed. But before I think of the explanation method, you have to understand the root cause. Because only by understanding why you do it, to really do, Lufa deals with Nanki Bing Shinning God. Afraid of missing a word. He feels the Buddha was about to tell him an important secret. Medical treatment of the deceased. It is related to the peace of the family home of Yang Jian's relatives. This is not groundless. There are three important reasons for this. These three reasons are related. Both are indispensable. Bodhisattva's words let Lanki realize the seriousness and complexity of the problem. Kiso. SA continues to be the interpreter for Blue Chess. The deeper meaning of home peace. The so-called peace of mind. Not only is there no disaster, more importantly, the aura is harmonious. When the various energies in the home reach equilibrium, the occupants will naturally feel at ease. Lanki thought that her family has been sleeping badly recently. Emotions are also easily irritable. It's all about this. If the clothes of the deceased are properly handled, not only can it help the deceased to rest in peace, it can also protect the blessing of Yanjian's relatives. That's why the ancients will leave behind this traditional wisdom. Bodhisattva's words, "Let Blue Flag have a deeper understanding of traditional culture." In addition, when handling the clothes of the deceased, also pay attention to some specific details. For example, you should wash your face quietly before processing. Keep your inner future. Read scriptures or ink guides during processing. Bless the messenger. Clean your hands and body in time after handling. Avoid the residual negative energy. Blue Flag memorizes every point carefully, ready to be applied in practice. After the Bodhisattva handles the foreign body, what else should we do? King Jizo said gently, "After processing, you can do some merits for the teacher, like release, giving and chanting sutras, etc. Recall the merits to the teacher. This not only helps the messenger accumulate blessings, it also enhances family harmony." There was a warm current in Lankin's heart, feeling the compassion of the Bodhisattva. At the same time, family members should learn to adjust their mentality, translate the thoughts of the deceased into positive action. You can honor the dead by doing good deeds. This is more meaningful than simply preserving relics. The beginning of the Bodhisattva. Let Lanki understand the true meaning of filial piety. But, the Buddha, I still want to know the deeper reason. Why are the clothes of the deceased safe for the home? Have such a big impact? King Jizo Bodhisattva looked at Lanki for knowledge, and he nodded his head. Looks like you're ready. So now, just to reveal the fundamental secret for you, Jizo King Bodhisattva slowly raised his staff, floating in the void. A light golden light turned into ripples. Spread out. The entire temple hall is increasingly sacred and solemn. The third reason, it is the aura field disorder caused by the imbalance of yin and yang. The blue flag is slightly raised. I don't understand. Don't or notice. Everything in the world is made up of yin and yang. Yang for manifestation, yin for yin. Yang of the living, King Yin. Clothes are shaped things. But because of the king of Juban, died Yin. If these clothes are kept in the sun house for a long time, it's like leaving a shadow in the sun. This shadow will slowly invade and rise, make fortune at home, healthy emotions, and even children's wealth accept their mercy. Bodhisattva breaks the mystery in one sentence. Blue flag. Physical and mental shock, like a breeze blowing through the breast wings. Miscellaneous flute. He suddenly remembered his grandmother's blue padded jacket has been passive on his bedside table. It hasn't been cleaned since my grandmother passed away. That is, these few months. I can't sleep at all. Frequent dreams. The family's mental state is also increasingly abnormal. But the Bodhisattva, can't you really keep those clothes? Not even one. His voice trembled. With tears in my eyes. Jizo King Bodhisattva smiled slightly. Put your hands together until you can't stay at all. It depends on the mind and the way. If you really want to keep it as a souvenir, nothing must be completely evolved. For example, after being washed with fire tribute Shangshun sudden water and chanting prayers, let it out of the yin. The policy of offering to Buddhist journals with the heart of offering. Do not place it by the bedside wardrobe and pillow at will. Not to be contacted on a daily basis, otherwise it's like sleeping and eating with the king every day. Take off perturbation ghost, lingering. Lankan lowered her head in tears and thought. He finally understands, so-called memorial, you can't just cling to things. It should be elevated to a spiritual and virtuous echo. Bodhisattva, should I get rid of the grandmother's clothes? Jizo King Bodhisattva nodded slowly. It's time to let go. Give up obsession. That is true compassion. The date of processing is selected today, but the demon monk chanted sutras. Or bathe and fast yourself. Burning incense. Store clothes neatly. Wrap in clean cloth. In a pure place, divide or give to the widowed. Can also resolve cause and effect, but remember the pain in my heart. Only be grateful to the governments. Lanki said softly, Amitabha. Tears welling up, but no longer sad. He seemed to see the kind face of his grandmother. Standing on the golden lotus platform, smile and nod at him. Blue chess origin and fate. Birth and death paid. Remember to say goodbye with love, not with obsession. The voice of the Bodhisattva still rings in my ears. The temple hall is gradually fading away like fog. The blue flag woke up from a dream. There are still wet tears in the corners of the eyes. It's dim outside. The first ray of morning light is falling through the window. He watched the neatly stacked grandmother go to the doctor, went to kneel in prayer. Afternoon of the same day, he bathed himself, wearing plastic clothes, burning incense in front of Grandma's alley, chanting the 7 changes of the Jizang Bodhisattva, remembering merits for grandmother. The next day he took his mother and younger brother with him, picked a place outside the village, wrapped grandmother's clothes in white cloth. Divide and lie down. I wish my grandmother a happy morning, Yonshuo reincarnation. And here's the weird thing. From that night on, the whole family regained their former peace. Father's temper is no longer grumpy. Mother regained sleep. The younger brother also revealed a long-lost smile. Lanki's own state of mind gradually calmed down. One night, he dreamed of his grandmother again. Grandmother in plain white kasaya, sitting on the lotus platform. Behind him is the golden light and shadow of King Kiso Bodhisattva. Blue chess, thank you for letting go of your obsession. Now I have to gamble. When I wake up, blue chess tears. But my heart is like still water. He got it. True filial piety is not to cling to a pile of old things, but with wisdom and compassion, help your loved ones complete their journey to the other side. After that, he started to send Jizo gold often. Shufu Shui. Transform your love for your grandmother into generosity. Release and help others. And every time he stood in front of the Buddha statue and burned incense, I will always remember the deep and compassionate words of the Bodhisattva. Dead ruin, the living are safe. Letting go is the deepest compassion. From then on, he also became the name of the elders in the village. A posterity who understands Buddhism, people often come to ask for help. Releasing and chanting scriptures, etc. Blue is no longer afraid of losing, because he already knows how to use Buddhism to walk with the deceased. He also often teaches others, don't trap your loved ones because of emotional attachment. Learning to let go is the deepest love. Therefore, the merciful teachings of King Kiso, spread like a seed in the world. The moment people dispose of the relics of the deceased, in that fire, after that single tear, quietly germinate and take root, the lotus of wisdom blooms.